I got roofied.
Are you serious?
Yeah, by a guy from London. I took a drink from him.
Recovery Vow is sponsored by Aggressor's Adventure, Posey Funeral Directors, and Craig International, among many other sponsors. Thank you for your support. So on today's episode of the Recovery Vow podcast, I've got two very young adults, two female adults that have a story to tell in addiction, but also in recovery. And so, like I said before, what was your name again? Is it Mallory? It's Aubrey.
Aubrey.
I don't know.
I'm Aubrey.
Aubrey. So nice to have you here, Aubrey. Thank you for coming on the podcast. And a returning guest, Miss Annabelle.
I told you I'd come back. You said it was going to be a little bit longer than this, but...
Yeah, I apologize. I mean, next time we'll do part 3 and you can stay for 4 hours.
Yep.
How about that?
Sounds good.
So Aubrey, we shared your story here at this church, you know, and I think that's when I texted or wanted to reach out to you then. Mm-hmm. Tell me about who you are in a way that will hopefully help other young women understand, because I don't, right? I'm not a young female. But there are going to be young females that listen to this.
Yeah.
Talk to me like you're talking to them. And
okay.
they're in a situation, and like I said, try not to be real heavy, but just, you know, what would you want them to know? And tell me, and mix your story in there with that.
Yeah. So I'm Aubrey. I'm 23. I am a nurse at...
Are you really?
Yeah. I work at Piedmont.
Are you allowed to say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I work at Piedmont in an ICU setting now.
Is that what you always wanted to do?
I don't think so. When I was growing up, I always wanted to be like, I don't know, I went through like a few different things. I like always thought like veterinarian, doctor, other things. Like I wanted to like care for things.
But definitely in like medical.
Mm-hmm. Something to do with medical. There was one year where I wanted to be a ballerina, but it didn't turn out. It's okay. But I'm a nurse. I love caring for people. Growing up, I was in the church. I went to Grace for a little bit growing up. I just didn't really feel like I like fit in the church with even like as a younger girl.
What made you not feel like you fit in?
Honestly, I think even from like a young age, I had a lot of like insecurity and like not feeling like I was good enough.
Yeah.
And I in turn would like be very reserved and like hold back a lot from friendships and other things, and that would like make me not get invited to things. And I remember there was this one time at the church that I was at, I went up to my mom. She tells me this story all the time. And she was like, this is how I knew we were supposed to leave that church. She told me that I came up to her and I was like, Mom, I feel like I'm like not welcome here. And I was probably like 5 or 6. And I feel like I'm not welcome here. Like as that young of a kid is just like weird.
And to say that at such an early age.
Yeah. It was very interesting. So I think it was because honestly, I like wasn't getting invited. I wasn't really included in a lot. And that kind of started a lot of insecurity in me at a young age. Then
you feel like so you're saying it's made you feel that way. Do you feel like, and I'm asking you this because you are a nurse and so you had to go through a lot of school.
Yeah.
Do you feel like something was unlocked that made you have these now new anxious feelings or these, you know, these feelings that maybe, or do you think you were born with it? And I'm leading up to an addiction question. That's why I'm asking it.
I think both. I was always anxious throughout middle and high school.
Okay.
I was on medication for a long time, and then I would like try to come off, then have to go back on. I would jump different friend groups. I would be like, okay, let's try this one this month. Let's see where it ends up. And then there again, I felt like I didn't fit in.
Yeah.
That in turn caused insecurity, anxiety, and just like a void.
Like
that.
the 2 or 3 different kind of friend groups you just bounce around? Or like you would just make a friend, burn a bridge, and move on?
I feel like I always had like one friend that I was really close to, and we would always get in little tiffs all the time. And it would be like, okay, I'm not going to talk to her for a week, and then we'll like reunite. But I had all like, depending on what friends that girl was friends with was who I confided in. Those are my friends. I didn't really like have my own friends per se because I was so insecure. I was like, nobody will love me for who I am.
Did you deal with the same thing?
Yeah, the exact same thing. I think we talked about it a little bit last time. Like I would bounce around so much. Just
a lot of girls do that?
I think it's a control thing for sure.
Okay.
It's like, I know for me, I can still catch myself doing it now. But if I upset you or something, I'm like, I have to run away and need to go make sure these other people don't like me because I know I already just made something happen between us two.
Gotcha.
So, and usually it would be when I was drinking that I would mess that up. But like trying to fluff these other friendships so that nothing would happen with this one. Because if I lose this one, then I'm losing all these other ones too.
Yeah.
It was always like a control thing.
So you did this middle school, high school?
Middle school, high school, throughout college. I had bad roommate situations. So I
roommates are going to be bad anyway, though.
I know.
Okay,
Yeah.
We have
just go
great
ahead and talk
roommates
about
now.
that.
So
Yeah, I have great roommate. I
Okay.
live with Tessa. But throughout college, my freshman year, I lived with a girl from Augusta. I didn't even know her. I was like, maybe if I live with somebody I don't know, it won't be bad. And then 2 random roommates from like Gwinnett County or something. And it was still the same. I was like, okay, I'm going to latch on to this one person from Augusta that I barely know. And she's going to make the friends here. And I'm going to be friends with them. I didn't put in any effort. I was like, okay, she's going to make the friends. And then I'm going to be her shadow and be friends with them through her. Because I felt like I couldn't have my own.
The important thing you just said, though, is that you didn't make the effort to get to know them.
Right.
So you didn't know who you were surrounding yourself with and didn't care.
Right. I didn't.
as long as there was people around,
Yeah.
that's all that matters.
Yeah. I just wanted company. And I would surround myself with literally any type of company. It could be good or bad. I would go to every single social event I was invited to with whoever. And it didn't matter what they were doing. I was like, okay, if I'm invited, I'm there.
Yeah.
I could never say no. And sometimes I like still struggle with that. And I think that's something that's so easy to do is like not say no. Because for my whole life, I was a people pleaser. And
Yes Man.
yeah.
You ever seen that movie?
I haven't.
You need to watch it. When you get home today, go watch Yes Man with Jim Carrey. It's kind of a funny movie, but you understand like you can't say yes to everything. You know, it's a trick in your head. You don't have to do everything that comes in your way.
Yeah.
No, he did it in the movie, and it was like, okay, it's kind of funny, you know. But in real life situations, and to be a young adult girl, middle school, high school, college, you need to know who you're surrounding yourself with. Your parents want to know who you're surrounding yourself with, I'm sure. And so do you feel like the bouncing around, you know, these different friend groups, did that help you, or did that motivate you to do what they were doing? Because I mean, I'm not saying that you can blame your addiction on them, but is that when you tried things?
Yeah, for sure.
Because of that friend group?
In high school, there was never a time when I was like, let's go party and drink and do drugs and all of that. I was the one that was like, okay, I'll drive you home. And I was just like socially like withdrawn, anxious, and I would stand in a corner and they would be like partying, drinking. There was like a homecoming party and I went to it with all of my friends and they were all having the time of their lives per se. And I was just sitting in a corner because I was sober at the time. And I was like, okay, why am I hanging out with these people?
As long as I'm invited,
as,
then
as
it's
long
okay,
as I'm invited and as long as I have company.
Why? Because if you weren't invited, does that mean something?
Because then you just feel like you're not worthy.
Yeah.
Like FOMO?
Yes, extreme FOMO. And I can speak to that, but in a completely different light. I had to be the center of attention at all times. I was the drunkest in the party. I was the biggest dancer. I was the whatever. But it was like, because I was molding myself to whoever I was around, I had to be them, but a notch higher. Like, no matter what it was. When I got out of high school, I was like, I had no idea what music I even liked. Because whatever I liked was whoever I was around. Like, whatever they liked, I was going to latch on. I would go home. This is so bad. I would go home and memorize the lyrics to songs I didn't even like. So that when I was in the car with them, it would seem like I was like them. Like, I would just do stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
constantly.
Crazy.
And
that is crazy.
And you don't have any form of self.
See, I loved all music, so that didn't apply to me.
It was just a chameleon. It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't be listening.
Chameleon. That's a good word.
It's literally it.
Yeah.
Exactly what it is. Because I hated smoking weed. I absolutely never enjoyed it, except when I was by myself. It was just chameleon. Yeah. Chameleon activity.
But that's right. That's chameleon. Yep. I think we were unlocking in that we were always addicts. Not necessarily addicted to drugs and alcohol, but just that addict mindset. Like, I'm addicted now to not stopping. Like, I can't stop whatever I'm doing. Yeah. Like this podcast. Like, I want it to be super successful. I want people to listen to it. Sure. But it's like it's all my mind will think about. You know what I mean?
I truly believe it's a gift from the Lord, though. Like, to have that, it can be so easily perverted by the enemy, but addicts who get sober and realize that Jesus is the middle of everything, the things that they accomplish for the kingdom is crazy.
Oh, okay. You done turned into Pastor Annabelle.
I'm just saying, like,
no, it's fine.
You see it, and they love people so well, and because the Lord has given them such a passion, but the enemy can so easily like pervert it and make it be a passion for needing to be seen, and a passion, like whatever it is. We're just like, we're go-getters. We can't stop whatever it is that we like. And it's a good thing, but it can easily be taken the wrong way. But I think, like with you, it's such a testament to that, because you have just continued to not stop, even if there's been hurdles and obstacles in the way.
I think I would get depressed if I had to stop, or if I was slowing down. And as I get older, I can tell like my body gets tired quicker. Like, I want to sit down, but my mind doesn't turn off. Like, while I'm sitting down resting, I'm on the phone.
See, that's not a good thing.
It's not. I get that, and I'm reminded of it by my family, but I have set these like things now. It's got this AI in the phone where it kind of just shuts it. You can tell it when to like shut down, and it'll do that. Yeah. And so that works out great. So the family loves it and everything.
So you're learning more about rest now.
Yes.
Like true rest.
Yeah. I rest when I wake up from sleep. I rest then. That's when I read the word. That's when I sit with myself. That's my rest period. My brain, though, will turn on like an hour later, and I'll start thinking through emails I need to respond to or texts I need to send. It depends on what the day holds or what's coming, that week.
Yeah.
But I'm learning. That's what I mean by that. Like, I'm learning now to just stop, spend time. But that's the only time. Once I hit go, once I put the car in drive, we are going there as fast as we can until I literally lay back down the next, that night.
What do you feel like the biggest struggles are with that, though?
It's the selfish side of sobriety. So it's me. I'm doing all this for you. But that is it. We still have addictive personalities in sobriety. And so I have to learn how to bring other people in. I need to learn how to
That's
bring
good.
Kristen in. I need to learn how to bring Cameron in.
Yeah.
I need to learn how to bring
good.
Christian in.
Yeah.
But then also, just you have to read the room, as we're told sometimes, and just understand that you have to make time. Just because you want to slow down right now doesn't mean that they're ready to slow down either. They have their own lives that are going on. So we're trying to figure it out. I think we're always all in process. So
We're always going to be figuring it out. It's never going to be figured out.
Yeah. But let's switch back to not Mallory. Let's switch back to you because I want to hear your story a little bit, with the time we have. Tell me what, how old were you when you first tried anything, when you first did anything? How old were you? And why do you feel like you did that?
Probably, I think I was 18.
Okay.
Or when I first tried anything, I was in high school. And I'm pretty sure I was 18. It was senior year. Then I didn't want to do anything. I was like, okay, I am the designated driver. I am the one who is going to be sober at this party. But then I got to college. I went to Georgia Southern. I've seen people have great experiences there.
Okay.
But I've seen people have really hard experiences there. And I was one of them. I came back after 2 years and I hated it. But
you hated Georgia Southern or hated having to come back?
I hated Southern.
Oh, okay.
I came back because I was homesick and I missed, I guess, company because I didn't have any there. I couldn't find a group of friends. And once I had those roommate issues, it was done for. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm coming home. I moved out over Thanksgiving break. I didn't even finish my courses in person. I finished them online.
That's fine. At least you finished them.
Yeah.
That's good.
I wasn't going to flunk out or anything. I was like, I'm going to finish my work and stuff, but I cannot stay here anymore. But going to Georgia Southern, I joined a sorority. I rushed and literally they call it bid day buddy. I came to the house. It's like a person that shows you around and everything. First thing I walk into the house and she's like, let's go upstairs. And I was like, okay. We get upstairs and she puts a shot glass in my hand and she says, okay, now take it. And I was like, what? And I wasn't going to not take it. I wanted to be cool and I wanted to fit in and I wanted to have
So you can't say in that moment, I don't drink.
Right. I didn't.
It was a yes man moment.
Right. It was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do this because I want to look cool and I want to have friends. So I took the shot and then we hung out for the rest of the day. And then she was like, okay, we're going to Blue Room later. Blue Room is a bar in Statesboro.
There's another bar down there called Stinky McGavern's. McGavin Stinky.
I don't know if it's
Dingus McGee's.
Dingus McGee's.
Yeah, I know that one really well too.
Is that one close by though?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But so but so she was like, okay, we're going to Blue Room. And I was like, well, I'm not 21. And she was like, oh, don't worry. We'll get you in. We have a fake ID for you. And I was like, okay, fine. I'm going to come to Blue Room. So I went home, got dressed. She came pick me up and we went to Blue Room. That girl, I didn't buy anything. People were just handing me things left and right. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to say no. I cannot, right now in this moment, I cannot say no. I want to have friends. Am I going to have friends or am I going to be a loser right now?
Mm-hmm.
And I chose drinking. And then.
Did you go there thinking that you had an addictive personality or that you were being in high school, right? We try things.
Right.
But it didn't really start till like you get these situations. And I guess the way why I'm asking that is girls are going to go to school, you
Yeah.
know, and they're going to be just like you, where they're put in situations where they can make a choice, but they make the choice to go the lighter because of the people they're with or they want to be around.
Yeah.
Do you think you would not be chosen to be a part of a friend group if you said, hey, look, I don't drink? What would have happened?
I honestly don't know. That was the type of person that was in that sorority.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know until I was in it.
Mm.
And it was kind of okay, well, now I'm in it and now I pay the dues and I'm paying for what if I'm not going to have friends.
Yeah.
So, but growing up, I felt like looking back at it, I can definitely see some of like years where I was like, okay, that was probably me having an addictive personality.
Yeah.
Like I will do this thing and I like still do it where I find something that I really like and then like painting, for example. I did this. It was like a year or two ago. I was like, okay, I'm going to try painting because I found it and then I obsessed over it for like a week. And I was like, okay, I'm going to obsess over painting. I'm going to get really good. And I did it for a week, spent all this money on painting.
Then it gets old and you stop.
Yeah. And I was like,
a good
okay.
song. Eventually it's not a good song anymore.
Literally. And I remember when I like first got sober, my old friends that I would like drink with here, they told me, well, you being a Christian is just a phase. It's just one of your obsessions. And I was like, okay, well, I think you're wrong. And I like didn't know how to like, I think at first I wanted to like prove myself, but then I like knew who the Lord was because of like how he saved me when I was in jail that night. And
why'd you go to jail?
I got arrested when I was drinking. So Masters Week of 2023, I was out drinking. This is when
this is just this last Masters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It was Masters Week. This is when I got sober. I was out at Docks, Portside, and everybody from different countries, different cities was in town. And I was like, okay, I'm going to have the time of my life. And my addiction had like reached like peak. And I was like, okay, I'm going to stay the night at my friend's every night so we can go out every night for Masters Week. And
because our listeners need to hear that we're in Augusta, Georgia, and the Augusta National hosts a tournament here every year called the Masters.
Yes.
And Augusta turns into this place.
Party place.
Yeah. But all these people come in from all over the world
everywhere
to come watch this golf tournament. It's my most favorite week of the year outside of Christmas. It is my most favorite week of the year.
Because you get to meet all the cool people.
But I mean, it's not, I do it sober, you know, I mean, so, but I love golf too. So I just want everybody that listens to this to know what we're talking about. So if you're at Docks Portside on Washington Road, it's because you're right up the street from the Masters.
Yeah.
But I was at Docks, and just a couple weeks before this, I had gotten broken up with. I was like drinking like a fish. And I was like,
do we like this guy now?
No.
And we don't like you. You're listening to this.
We forgive now, so
we do forgive,
but you don't forget.
You don't forget. No, you don't. But but I had gotten broken up with, and I was just like at an all-time low. So I was just drinking to like feel whatever I was feeling, and like to numb that. And my friends were like, "What is wrong with you?" But they wouldn't like call me out on it. They would just like take me to these places and drive me home. And
so you were drinking to get drunk every night.
Oh yeah, every night on Masters Week I was out drinking to get drunk. And I think it was on Friday night or Saturday night of Masters Week. I got roofied.
Are you serious?
Yeah, by a guy from London. I took a drink from him. He was like, "Hey, you want a tequila shot?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I do." So I took it and remembered nothing. I tried to fight someone and I got carried out of the place by the cops. And then I tried to fight the cops.
That's when you went to jail.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least, okay, that's not cool.
Yeah.
But at least you went to jail.
Yeah, it could have been so much worse.
You see where I'm going with this?
Yes, it could have been so much worse.
That scares me for girls.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my brain didn't work like that to, like, drug you or drug people to have a good time or whatever. But the fact that people do that is really scary. So I'm going to say this. Like, that was a God thing maybe that you went
for
to jail?
sure. No, for sure. Because that is literally where I, like, re-encountered the Lord. I was in a cell by myself. And I was just like, okay. I remember growing up in church. And I remember them talking about the Lord. And I remember him being like a savior and all of this. So I'm just going to try it. I'm just going to like try talking to him. And I remember being like, okay, Lord, if you're real, I need some help. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Need you to save me, I guess. And like completely turn my life around.
So that night though, when you're talking to God as you understand him, it wasn't like the jail cell door opened up or these white lights come on. I mean, you still had to deal with what you
I'm still facing the consequences of what I did.
But you made a promise, you made a vow to a commitment to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me what in your life changed from that moment? And did you stick to the vow that you made?
Yeah. So after leaving there, I was in jail for 21 hours and I had time to like sit and reflect and be like, okay, I don't think I ever want to drink again. And that was like a hard decision to make because at that point I was like craving a drink every night before bed. And my mom picked me up from jail and took me home. And it was my birthday, like a few weeks before that. And she didn't like get me anything yet because I was like waiting to figure out what I wanted. And she was like, okay, we're going to do this, this, and this. And we're going to get like a lawyer. And I was like, okay, yes, I know. And I was like, but I want a Bible for my birthday. And she was like, what? Okay, fine.
Have y'all not been to church since the 5-year-old experience?
So we had gone to another church. I got baptized there when I was 8. And then I sang in youth ministry at Warren when I was in high school. Mm-hmm. And I would just like sing the songs and go through the motions. And I was like, okay, I don't know what this even means to me. Because it was like...
You're checking a box.
Mm-hmm. It was just like a chore that I was checking off on a list. And so I grew up literally from birth to high school in the church. When I went off to college was when I decided that I went to Crew, which is, I don't even know what it stands for, honestly, but it's a Christian organization at Georgia Southern. I went once and I hated it. And I was like, okay, I'm never going back. And that's when my drinking started. And then coming back here, I remember walking in and being like, oh my God, everybody's going to be looking at me. Everybody's going to be judging me. Everybody's like, the attention is going to be on me. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't. And just like finding comfort in knowing that it wasn't was awesome. But after getting out of jail, I got my Bible, started reading it, and it was just an influx of information. And after that, it was hard to not take a drink. I was still surrounded by the people that would go out with me every night because I had no other friends. It was 3 girls that I had gone to nursing school with and AU with. And they were still drinking and everything. And it was like I reverted back to high school me. I was like, okay, I'll go out to the bars with you, but I'm only drinking water. So I would still go out to the bars, but I would just drink water. And I was like, I don't want to drink anything. I want to be able to like think and
So you had this new
think
confidence.
straightly. Yeah. But, and then like, I was like, okay, why are y'all drinking? Like, what makes you, we had a hard conversation basically. And they were like, you think you're great now because you're a Christian, but this is just another obsession of yours. And I was like, okay, I think this is my time. Like, I went with grace and I was like, okay, I love y'all, but I need to take a step back from our friendship. And it like was kind of like we hung out every now and then we never hung out at all.
That's okay.
It's perfectly fine.
You can still, like them, love them
Yeah,
from afar, but
I still-
it just doesn't need to be who your
Yeah.
core group is, I guess.
Yeah.
And people need to know that. That's why I asked you in college, like, why didn't you say then, I'm just going to drink water. I don't need that shot, because it's a fit in thing. But then when you went to the church that you mentioned that you were visiting or something with your mom or even later on, you found ways to not connect or blame it on the church, which I'm sure that has a lot to do with it. But how easy was it to meet this one person and they walk you upstairs and offer you a shot, and all this other time where you spent, as a younger woman, being offered these different things, and it was like, no.
You just say no. Yeah.
So, so what is today like? Like, you made that decision. This April will be a year ago.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you work like she said 2023? Yeah.
Yeah.
Two.
This April will be 2.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's awesome.
So this past master's was a year. And then this one coming up is 2 years.
Yeah, because I remember.
She's
It was
like,
hard.
this is hard.
Yeah.
She leads in student ministry as well.
Oh, okay.
So that makes me I wanted to almost ask you questions, but because you talked about when you were in high school, you were still singing and you were involved in the church and like you were there every Wednesday. Does that scare you at all with leading girls that are in 9th grade?
Oh, for sure. Because sometimes I see like what they're doing and like what they're talking about, and I'm like, I want to like reroute. Like, I want to help them reroute the trajectory of their life by feeding them the truth. Because I know that like some of them are starting to drink and go to parties and hang out with the wrong crowd, and that's hard to watch because of like how it had an impact on my life. But
I think you have to understand that self-will is still self-will.
Yeah.
They have to go.
They have to make a
Just like you,
choice. They have to make a decision for themselves.
Accidents happen from self-will. Life happens from self-will. So, yeah. And so you just need to be, if you're a true friend, you just need to be there waiting on them when they get there, right?
Yeah.
Because they want to be, when people say things like that, it's because, I feel like it's because they probably want what you have deep down. Like, they want to be able to say, I don't want to do this. Or at least I don't want to do this forever, but I want to do it for right now and just be able to control it. And you found control in it. Because a lot of us will find sobriety or how to become a new person in jail. Yeah. There's a lot of prayers written on the walls in jail. Or,
there is.
But I think it's great that you are where you are now. I'm glad that you went. I think out of this whole conversation, I'm glad you went to jail that night.
I am too. it was the biggest blessing
Mm-hmm.
that the Lord has given to me.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I remember laying on my bunk. I was on the bottom bunk, and there was like, the bed above you is metal. And I'd got the soap, and I was like writing these names with the soap, like of people I hated because I felt like it was their fault I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
And I was
victim
like,
mentality.
"Geez." Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
exactly what it was.
It's everybody else's fault.
Mm-hmm.
It was horrible. How old are you now?
23.
23, and you're 22.
21.
21. So 23 and 21, you guys have a lot of responsibility on you to lead these younger women.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you have to save them, but you just need to lead them.
Right.
And lead them. Remember the things that set you off in your younger days, and just don't do that because you won't find them if you're being that way, because it's what turns you off, right?
Yeah.
So I commend you guys on what you're doing with the young adults and the young people in this church and schools. I think sobriety is awesome. I really do.
Really
and I want you guys to be able to show that to other people. So when young women hear this podcast, they've heard part of your story. I'm sure that's not all of your story, but they've heard part of your story. What is one thing you would rather for them to hear? Would it be something from your past that they can connect with, or would it be something from your present that they would want to connect with?
I think the present is where the treasure is.
Look at you.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, girl.
Pastor, not Mallory.
Not Mallory.
That's
You're not
me.
alone.
That's
Huh?
great.
That's just it. You're not alone.
That's good.
Because like she was saying, when she walked in the church, she felt so alone. She felt like everybody was staring at her.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like that. There's always someone you can reach out to.
I stood at the front doors today, and I just was watching people come in, and I was like, every one of these people's got a story. Not one of them are walking in, and they're perfect. Every one of them that are walking in are either about to walk into something, they're walking through something, or they're walking out of something when it comes to life. So you just got to...
You're just walking.
You're just walking. All right. Let's have a little fun. You guys ready?
Okay, who gets to
Aubrey,
answer
you
what?
ready?
Yep.
Do what? What was your question?
Am I answering any or am I?
Yes, there's 6 questions. You're going to answer 3.
Okay.
You're going to answer 3.
Okay. Okay.
When I read the question, I need you to
goodness.
answer it as fast as you can. First response that comes to your mind, you
Oh.
say that. I don't
She's
care
first
if it's,
3, I'm second 3?
I'm just going to look at you.
Okay.
Uh-oh. I'm not good with fast responses.
You can do it. You can do it. Oh, she's not bad.
Who wants to go first?
We argue about her slow responses all the time, actually, so this is going to be interesting.
Who wants to go first?
She can go.
I can go first. Can I take time, though?
Uh-uh.
No?
What comes
That's
to your
what-
brain? You just go.
Whatever comes to your brain.
Nothing comes to my brain at first. Okay.
You
Okay.
ready?
It's fine, yeah.
It could be the lady that worked at Doc's porch side that waited on you. I don't
Okay.
care. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It could be that random.
Yeah.
Whatever comes into your brain. Person you would trade places with for one day. I don't know anybody named
Sorry.
And I'll give you this. They can be
for one day.
they can be alive or dead.
Like, are you going back in time?
You can whenever, alive or dead. You can say Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, I'm not
This is
answering
rapid fire
Okay.
questions.
No,
You go first.
yeah, he looked at
You
you.
go first.
No,
Why
answer
me?
it. He looked at you.
I'll say it
Um,
again. Person you would trade places with for one day.
Probably Tiffany Hudson. I don't know why. That just came to my mind.
Guilty pleasure.
Oh, it's literally in my brain, but now it's gone.
Mhm.
Dancing with the Stars. Everything that has to do with Dancing with the Stars, like keeping in with all of the people and knowing their lives and all the things Dancing with the Stars.
That's weird.
Yep.
Best compliment you've ever got.
That I love like Christ loves. That's sweet.
That's sweet. Worst piece of advice you've ever got.
Me?
You didn't look at
Or
anyone. You said you were
Annabelle?
gonna look at us.
Back and forth. Sorry.
Follow your heart.
That's so stupid.
What do you feel? What do you feel like you should do?
Yeah. Don't ever do that. Something you wish you were better at.
drawing.
So when you started painting, you never picked up drawing?
I wasn't good.
You just weren't good?
I just wasn't good at.
Did you really do it for a week?
Painting. I did it for a week and a half, maybe. Yeah.
Quitter.
I know. Hey, I still have my paint stuff, so I can still pick it up.
Yeah. Don't pick that
We'll
drink
always
back
make
up.
you smile.
The first thing that came to my head,
What?
truly, was Eli, Chandler, and Ashton.
Oh,
Because they're always just so funny. They're
Yeah.
just funny.
Yeah.
Or Winston. Babies.
Winston.
Babies will
Little baby
always
Winston.
make me smile.
there you go.
I'll never not smile at a baby.
So that's fun.
Unless it's really snotty, then maybe not.
Mm.
Well, I hope you guys had fun coming on the podcast and just seeing like we talk about everything here. It's Recovery Vow podcast because we talk to married couples, but the vow part is where we get to talk to different individuals. Some that are sober curious, some that are like you that are fresh, kind of new in recovery, young, and so it's because I want to reach different generations. And there are going to be girls out there, maybe even guys too, that hear this and came close to that roofie drink, or know what it's like to feel pressure because of college life. You know what I mean? So if they want to connect with you, is it okay?
Oh, that's fine. Perfect.
Her number is...
No.
My number is blah, blah, blah. My address
I'll
is...
get them to email me and then I'll
Okay.
do that. So, Annabelle, thank you for coming back too and giving Aubrey just
me.
somebody to hang out with.
Yeah, sorry. Sometimes I can't shut up, but...
No, that's what makes this fun. It's a podcast. We talk here. So, hey, really have a great week. Thank you so much for coming on the Recovery Vow podcast. We'll see you soon. Hey, thanks for tuning in today's episode of Recovery Vow podcast. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you would like to connect with us, you can connect with us through email at recoveryvow@gmail.com, our website, recoveryvow.com, or you can find us on our different social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. But we would love for you to go to YouTube and subscribe to our channel. If you would like to pre-order a copy of my book, Marriage After Addiction, Take Back Your Life Together, you can do that through the store at exomarriage.com, or you'll see a link on any of our social media platforms. I look forward to seeing you again very soon. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Recovery Vow Podcast is brought to you by Goldneck, Newsom Electric, S&S Supplies, Carpet Cleaning Pros of Augusta, Rhett Walker, Atlas Health and Wellness, Norval Fixture and Equipment, Augusta Lawn and Turf, Augusta Dream Center, Bagwell Insurance, Sally Kohler Photography, Burroughs Elijah, Attorney at Law, Communigraphics, Kendra Neal Studio, Kendrick Paint and Body, Coleman Construction, Augusta Magazine, Corbin Jones State Farm, Game Changers, Tree Guys with Ties, Penn Roofing, Aggressors Adventure, Posey Funeral Directors, Craig International. And I want to say thanks to everyone else who's contributed to the Recovery Vow podcast. We couldn't do this without you.